Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning. You're welcome to my live stream. Yeah, the weather is a bit, the weather is not so bright because I guess it's about to rain. So, well, let's just see how it goes. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. So, how you doing? What time is it? How was your night? Okay, over here it's 10:43. Yeah, 10:43 a.m. Good morning. Double tap on the screen. Trying to put down something. Double tap on the screen to like this live stream. Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? It's still morning over here. It's still morning. How hope you had the blessed night rests. Yeah, I'm just coming, just starting this live stream so that we can talk. Let's just talk. Let's talk. Where is everyone? All right. So my name is Dr. Bibele Wise, and I'm streaming from Nigeria. I'm a YouTuber. I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, though the channel is a young channel, but I have a YouTube channel, and I decided to start a YouTube channel so that I can reach out to more people, I can connect with more people. And so far, it has been amazing, it has been awesome. So yeah, so I'm here, and on my live stream, I talk about different topics. I also connect with people from different areas and walks of life, and to the glory of God, it has been amazing. It has been wonderful. I've had to meet new people. I've had to meet amazing people here, and we seem to encourage ourselves because I know that everyone alive has something to offer, regardless of the age. Everyone has something to offer, and that which you have in your inside is needed by the world. Yeah, the world needs everything you have. That idea, that skill, that talent you've got that sometimes you tend to look down on is needed by somebody out there. Yeah, so I also do well to encourage us to come out of our shell, to come out, speak up, and be heard. All right. If you don't come out, if you don't come out, nobody will see you. If you don't speak up, nobody will hear you. So keep speaking, just come out, keep showing up, and then someday, not too long from now, you will be heard and you will be seen. At the beginning, it may not be that um, wonderful. You may not have the kind of audience you would wish to have at the beginning, but don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing, all right? Okay, keep pushing. Success is very close. Success is closer than you think, okay? All right, I haven't said that. Just a moment. Please, can I have that book? Let me have that book, please. I haven't said that. Let's get talking. Let's get started. Let's talk. And I've said what we're talking about today is do what works for you. Yes, do what works for you. It's so important to do what works for you because you are the most important person. Yeah. Do what works for you, and then how do you get to know what works for you? You you will discover what works for you when you start exploring, when you begin to explore, when you practice mindfulness, okay? You tend to know what works for you. Sometimes you try out some things and it doesn't work. It's okay. You're exploring. How do you know what works for you? You get to know what works for you when you start exploring. Start exploring, like do things. Sometimes if you don't do some things, you will never be aware that you can do that. So it will work, right? So what has limited people for this long, or what really limits people, is that they are afraid to try new things. You need to know what works for you. Yeah. What works for A may not work for B, but you need to know what works for you. So please welcome to my live stream if you are here. Thanks for joining. Yeah, and tell me where you are watching from so we can connect, okay? All right, so I asked a question. How do you know, how do you get to discover what works for you? How do you get to know what works for you? Yeah, you do that when you start exploring, when you try to do what you already know. Teachers will say, start from the known to the unknown, right? Start with what you already know how to do. Yes. And then also go on to do new things, get into other things. Yeah, just like for instance, okay, I love telling stories, right? Okay, so let me just tell you this story now, because I was talking about start with what you already know and then explore new things. Then you discover your talent, you discover what is good for you and what works for you. So let me say something. Let me use myself as an example. Right, today I'm a teacher. Today I'm teaching, but like prior to that time, if anybody had told me that I'll teach one day, I would have fought that person. I wouldn't have believed it, right? If anybody had told me that one day I'll be a teacher, like while growing up, I think I've shared this story before, how I switched from how I switched from planning to be or aiming to be a medical doctor and to being a teacher, right? So prior to this time, or okay, to the time I started teaching, I found myself in the education sector. If anybody had told me that I was going to be teaching, I wouldn't have accepted that, because unlike some teachers you have today that will tell you that I knew this, my mom told me that I'll make a good teacher, you know. Because some will tell you that when they were little, when they were smaller, they see themselves teaching. They will bring children together to teach them, or they will do this, and some will start teaching inanimate objects, you understand. That was like a pointer to the fact that maybe they are going to be teaching sometime in their life. But mine was different. I was never that kind of person. Like, I was never interested in teaching. I just wanted to be a doctor. But then I found myself in the teaching industry, and then I discovered the new me. Do you understand? So, like, the topic I'm talking about today is that do what works for you. And then I said, start from what you know already, and then start exploring. Explore so that you can know more things. So that was how I found myself. Have you set it? Okay, so I that was how I found myself. I like in one of my live streams, I shared that story. So a friend of mine was in the school and I loved the flexibility, and that was how I picked interest. And because I needed the time as at then, and then I found myself in the teaching industry. And today I love teaching. I've known that teaching works for me. Like I love it and it works for me. And all my pupils or students that have passed through me always say that Teacher Y is an amazing teacher, right? But I never knew it. But I explored it. I explored that aspects before it now dawned on me that, oh, so this is nice. Okay, teaching is not even difficult after all. Teaching is like, oh, it's not like it runs in my blood, right? I know that teaching works for me. Just place me with a child and just any material, and you see the difference. But before that time, I never knew. If I had not found myself in the education sector and I just told myself, just give it a trial, I would never have known that teaching is also something that works for me or that could work for me, right? So, in trying to know what works for you, there is need for you to explore. Start with what you already know and then explore. Explore and explore so that you can be unfolding those hidden talents and passions. Oh, thank you. Who's giving me the like? Thank you so much. Also, tell me where you're watching from so I can connect with you. Ade is here. Ade, God bless you. Thanks for always stopping by. God bless you. Yes. Oh, thanks for the heart. Thank you so much. Yes, so this morning I'm talking about what works for you. Do what works for you. You know, you are just you. There's no other person like you. No other, like, there is no two. Even if we have identical twins, they still have, they are unique, right? They are unique. They have things that work for them. Yes, thank you so much. Welcome. If you're just joining, please just tell me where you're watching from so I can give you a shout out, and then I can also recognize you specially, because anyone that stops by here is so special to me, because there are so many live streams here and there, and then you decided to stop by. And I don't take that for granted, okay? Also, just double tap on the screen so that you can like the screen, this live stream, right? So I was saying something. I'm saying that we need to do what works for us. You need to know what works for you and stick to it. You are not like the other person. Like, I've just come to realize that I don't do everything, because it's not everything that will work for me, that works out for me. So it's good to know that, okay, let me say where I work now. Sometimes we have supervisors come around. I'm not this type that know how to cover faults. No, 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 no. There are people that can just talk their way out of things, right? But I know that that doesn't work for me. What works for me is that do the right thing. And so if, when I have some people say, don't bother about this now. We can just do this. I'll say, don't worry, I know myself. I'll just tell them, never mind, I know myself. Like, I know what works for me. I can't just stand and be defending what is not right. So I know that what works for me is to do the right thing. So I don't follow the crowd. When you know what works for you, it will help you to stick to your values, to stick with what you know, and then you will not be carried away by every wind that just comes. Just know what works for you and stick to it. What works for you may be a very difficult thing, or maybe very simple, but you need to, because like, nobody is you, like, you are just you. All right. So I was saying that, how do we know what works for you? Everybody here already knows one or two things, right? Some people can do things and get away with it because they can find their way around it so quickly. They are vocal, some people are manipulative, that they can do, but me, I know my strengths, right? I know my weaknesses. So number one way to know what works for you, I said, start with what you already know, right? And then secondly, explore new things. Explore new things, because if you don't explore new things, you won't uncover the hidden potentials you have. You won't uncover the gold. Like I used to tell people that, you see gold, you don't just, gold is not just on the street. Gold is not found on the surface. You always need to dig deep to find gold. So everybody's got gold in them. Like you have potentials. That potentials are those inner powers, right? You have great potentials in you, and those things sometimes show up when you are faced with some things, when you have to do some new task. Sometimes you never can tell that you have this potential or that potential, but if you always shy away from doing new things or handling tasks, you may never know. All right, so I have to go get breakfast at the kitchen, so I might not respond for some time. It's okay, Ade. I know that once you are back, you always respond. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay. All right. So we're still on the topic. Please double tap on the screen if you're just coming. I'm Dr. Wise, and I'm here on your screen this morning so that we can just discuss. Right? We are all lights. I'm a light. You're a light. I can use my lights to make your light shine brighter. If we come together, let's say this is a candle, another candle, when we come together, we'll give the light to be brighter, right? So that's why we're here, okay? So I've been talking about what works for you. Like, do what works for you. Do not follow the crowd, because what works for B may not work for C. So you need to know what works for you so that you can stick to it and make profit with it. So I asked a question. So how do we know what works for us? The first I said was that you already know. There's no way you will not know one or two things that work for you. Yeah. So always stick to them. And then the second way is to explore new things. Like, try out new things, because if you don't try out those things, you may never know that you have the potentials. You may never be aware that, you can do this or you can do that. So I use myself as an example that I think in one of my live sessions I've talked about how I moved from planning to become a medical doctor, and I found myself in the teaching industry. And then and I was saying that prior to that time, if anybody had told me that I'll end up being a teacher, I wouldn't have believed, because I never had the interest. I never knew I could teach. But today, it's a total, it's totally different, because I found a passion, or my passion in teaching, and I know that it works for me, and it works with almost all ages. I discovered that regardless of your level, I could just get swing into action when it has to do with teaching. I realize that if I'm in the early years classroom, like the preschool, I can go down to their level just to make impacts, just to ensure that learning takes place. Then if I find myself in the primary, the basic, oh, Ade is back. Ade, you know you're a darling. Yeah. Thank you for always coming back. And then what am I saying? Oh, if I find myself in the primary, like basic section, I'll switch to their level and flow with them. And then if I find myself in the secondary, like, you will see me cracking those jokes, like you will see me talking about those Gen Z things. Like, I would always swing into the level of my learners so that I can really connect with them, right? So that's it. So with that, I've known that teaching works for me, like any day, anytime. In fact, initially, facing the camera was like a problem. I was like, I would now start stammering, stuttering, and all that. I would now say, for what? What's it? Is it not me that you talk for a living? So what is the problem? So, but it got better because I kept doing it and kept doing it, right? So, if I had not tried that new thing, I wouldn't have known that teaching works for me. So that's why. It's just that now I cannot even see this. I think I have to end this live stream. I can't see any comment. I think that issue has started. Guys, I have to end this live stream.